on Wednesday afternoon that he was going to give up play calling and hand it over to Ken Dorsey. Anthony Maglin here for another quick game episode on Cleveland Browns on SI YouTube channel. And tonight, not just me, got my partner running alongside with me. Brendan Gulick normally runs the show. He's taking the sidecar tonight. And Brendan, we're going to start right away with you here. What are your initial thoughts when Kevin Stefanski handed over the play calling duties and gave them to Ken Dorsey?
I feel like you and I just did what Kevin and Ken did. We got a role reversal here. You listen, caught me by surprise. Not sure I love it. I have never really had a problem with Kevin Stefanski's play calling, and I think we've seen too many times over the years where he's been really good at this. I respect his stance as I'm the head coach. I got to have my hands in everything, and for whatever reason, this isn't working. So let's make a change. I'm not saying that he's making the wrong decision by getting there. I personally don't love Ken Dorsey's offense, and maybe it's irrational. I thought Ken Dorsey proved in Buffalo that he wasn't a good offensive coordinator, and as soon as he left, Buffalo got good. And the whole idea of bringing him to Cleveland to run this offense that was supposed to be tailored around Deshaun Watson has been a gigantic flop. So perhaps this is Kevin Stefanski saying, all right, I brought this guy here. I'll let him call his own plays, and he can either get this thing right and we're all better for it, or we can find out quickly that this isn't working and that I need to make a change at offensive coordinator. I don't know how much I buy into the whole, maybe Kevin Stefanski's coaching for his job thing. I think there is always this element in the NFL of what have you done for me lately? And even though he's won Coach of the Year twice in the last 4 years, maybe there's a little bit of an element of ownership looking down saying, hey, 1-6, we have a $230 million quarterback that you guys wanted, and we sold the franchise for, kind of thing, and it's not working. Figure it out. Maybe he's turning up the heat a little bit. I don't want to pretend to know what was dictated to him and what hasn't been dictated to him. But I am a little surprised to see him give up play calling. Admittedly, I don't love it. And I also think that because you have a new starting quarterback in Jameis Winston with the injuries now to Watson and to DTR, maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe this is just media talk, but how are we going to be able to separate where the problem was? Because now you have a new quarterback and a new play caller. So if it doesn't work, who do you blame? If it does work, who's the reason that it worked? I don't know. It keeps talking about, this is all collaborative. This is everybody's pulling the rope in the same direction. And then he says, this was my decision. It's like, okay, I get it. I appreciate the leadership, but I don't know. I don't think play calling is the problem. I think scheme is the problem. Mm-hmm. You're the former quarterback. You tell me, but I hate seeing so many plays out of the shotgun. Run some play action. Use the tight end. Look what that did for you last year.
That's where
hang our head on the wall. Come on.
That's where I am so confused at this. And that's the way I kind of see this is it doesn't make sense in my mind because, all right, let's think about it. We brought in Ken Dorsey to call an offense that's tailored to Deshaun Watson. If that's the case, why wasn't this move made 3, 4, 5 weeks ago when it wasn't working clearly out of the gates? So that's the first element of it. The second one, you hit on it perfectly. If it goes well, great. Who do you blame? If it goes bad, horrible. Who do you blame? Because you now don't know. You now just put 2 more variables into this offense hasn't been working and has been really sloppy, clunky, all of the bad things. So it doesn't make sense to me. And truthfully, from a fan perspective, I was excited to see Jameis Winston in Kevin Stefanski style offense, under center, turning your back to the defense, handing the ball off, throwing off play action. Those are the most efficient plays in today's NFL, and the Browns don't do them. And I was excited to kind of see it. So confusion is where I kind of settle on this. And it seems like it almost feels, and this is dangerous to say because I don't want this to be the end of Kevin Stefanski, but this almost feels like having a kid to save the marriage kind of a thing. Break glass. This is the last ditch effort to save everything. You're 1-6. Maybe this turns it around. And if it doesn't, start packing your bags because it may be the end. That's the part that scares me in all this.
Well, listen, man, what if you lose the next 2 weeks? And like the Browns can't be thinking about that internally. You got a lot of season in front of you. You got to win. But what if they fall to 1-8 going into the bye? There's got to be something in the back of Kevin's mind going, we made the playoffs last year with basically this roster.
Yeah.
How do you go from being a playoff team to not just unable to win, but statistically, this offense is horrible.
Yeah.
Like historically,
Historically.
right? How can you go from that to this? And so I don't blame him for like, hey, we got to try something. Something's got to change if we're going to get better. Personnel largely on the field is the same as it was last year. I would argue the play caller should have been the same as it was last year. The difference is you have a different offensive line coach. You got a different offensive coordinator with a different scheme. And look, I can't understand why Cooper was dropping so many passes. He's obviously gone. I can't understand why we didn't address the offensive tackle spot in the offseason. That looks like a big mistake. Further and further we go. But ultimately, like, this falls on Deshaun's shoulders as much as anybody. I thought there were moments at the beginning of the year where he was playing okay, and I didn't want to like overreact to poor play. But enough of a sample size now from him and from this offense in general, this is a train wreck. And in my opinion, we're still 2 weeks away from focusing attention on a full-blown, like, blow it up, start over, rebuild. I don't think you do that until the bye if you lose the next 2 weeks. You have to figure out a way to win these next couple of games. You owe it to your veterans to give yourself the best chance, and I hope Jameis Winston's got something really good in the tank.
Man, I'm certainly excited to see what he's got left in the tank. But after we leave the start of the Browns work week, it feels like there are still more questions than answers. But hopefully Kevin's going to push the right buttons and get Ken Dorsey up there. And maybe on maybe on Sunday, they'll score 20 points. We'll see. We'll see if that is going to be the case. But for more information and more content just like this, we got you loaded up here on Cleveland Browns on SI YouTube channel. So subscribe to our page. We love doing content just like this. So we appreciate you hanging along with us. For all of our written content, head over to our website, si.com/NFL/Browns, where we got you covered wall to wall as we get you set for a Week 8 matchup between the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday afternoon at 1:00.